What's up, everybody? Oliver Knott here. I am more than excited to be back at home for me, which is Southern California. And this is one of my old stomping grounds. I've been fishing here for decades now. And this is a very special lake to me and to people throughout Southern California. I wanted to introduce you guys to this fishery. We're going to talk a little bit about Lake Perris, their Coppernose Florida strain bluegill, and my man, Stephen Kosal.
How y'all doing today?
We're gonna show you guys a little glimpse into this special world that we got. These Coppernose bluegill grow big here. Back when we were kids, we used to get baskets full of 2 to 3 pounders.
That's right.
Insane, but they're special, they're different. Subspecies different from the northern strain bluegill, which most of us are very familiar with. Our other home lake, Puddingstone, has northern strain bluegill.
That's right.
They don't get quite as big. A 3/4 pounder is a really nice fish, 8 to 10 inch range. But the Coppernose Florida strain bluegill that we're targeting today get to 2 to 3 pounds. I think the lake record's almost 4. Like I said, back when we were kids, there is a healthy and thriving trophy pan fishery here. And for a while, it kind of went away.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think we were the guilty parties, because back then, nobody talked about panfish conservation. Now we've got an opportunity here to maintain this unique trophy fishery, both here and throughout the country. And I think it's important that we push that message that, hey, we can keep the mid-sized males and release the big ones and the females to keep this rocking and rolling. So you guys may notice there's a ton of surface activity around us. There's actually a carp spawn going on simultaneously. We are in a post-spawn phase for the largemouth here. So there's a ton of small fry in the water. All of these fish spawn in different stages. Crappie go first, largemouth, then it's followed up by the Coppernose bluegill and red ear sunfish, which are also in this lake. So what is it about these panfish that keeps you coming back for more, man? I mean, you get to pull on some of the hardest fighting and hardest to catch fish in all of Southern California. Yet when I come home, the first thing we talk about is bluegill or crappie.
That's right. They're just so special. I think, you know, they're like the gateway drug to fishing, and especially when you can get them at this size. And the lake we're at here, it's Lake Perris, and it's considered a world-class bluegill fishery, and we have that in our backyard. And guys will overlook this, and they might not appreciate it because, you know, they're focused on doing what they're doing. But man, I'll tell you, when you start getting on a good bite with these bluegill on cast masters, on little jerk baits and jigs, it's just, you know, it could be nonstop. You'll have easy 100 fish days, and on light line, they pull, they'll pop your line, they'll break you off. They're just so fun. Like, it brings you back to like the love of just being out with a couple of friends and just pulling on these things. So,
and if you guys aren't familiar with Lake Perris but are fans of spotted bass, interesting and fun fact for you: back in the day, they transplanted several dozen Alabama spotted bass from Smith Lake, where I had a Bassmaster Open that got rescheduled to later this fall. And those fish grew to world-class proportions. Lake Perris in the 80s was the premier spotted bass destination. Multiple line class records were set here. World records were set here. And before the recent boom on Bullard's Bar in Northern California, Southern California and Lake Perris was a strictly trophy spotted bass fishery. Things changed though, and at some point, bucket biologists brought Florida strain largemouth in from surrounding lakes, and the DFG at the time also planted Coppernose or Florida strain bluegill. And apparently these aggressive Florida strain bluegill were so persistent in raiding those spotted bass nests that eventually they wiped out that world-class fishery. But not really mad at it. We got a pretty special place to call home. We've had some incredible largemouth fishing throughout the years. There's a occasional stray trophy striped bass as well. The dynamics of our fisheries continue to change, and it's really on us to keep adapting.
Oh,
bro. Thanks to the beauty of editing, you guys have not seen the 6-hour struggle that Stephen and I have been on. This is literally the worst bluegill fishing he's experienced in like 2 years. I hooked a carp or a catfish, and then finally hooked the bluegill earlier, came off. We have been trying up and down this lake, checking colonies of empty beds, tree and brush lines, deep water, shallow water. We just scanned this outside ridge here. We were actually taking a sandwich break, and Stephen noticed some activity on the side scan, and sure enough, man, first cast had to go to the drop shot mealworm. But yo, check it out. That's a nice Coppernose bluegill. Oh gosh, don't stick me. Thank you, I appreciate that. Florida strain, originally from the Florida and Georgia region of the country. They grow much faster and much larger than their northern counterparts. Beautiful fish. How big would you say that is, Stephen? Half a pound?
Solid.
5/8 maybe?
Yeah.
Good fish. Looks like it's a male. He's pretty happy to see me. But we're on the board. Hopefully we're on to something special to eat. These are typically a schooling fish, so we shall see. Oh, good already? Ah! Okay. Man, I know my sonar skills are at least pretty decent, so. I have had the pleasure of fishing throughout the country and even parts of the world now. That tick that I just felt here on one of the home lakes still hits me, man. Hits me right here in the chest. Just takes me back. It's a simpler time. And I appreciate every single bite I get these days. This is another good sized Coppernose bluegill. Oh, dude. Oh, okay. This one's a little bit bigger. Oh, that one's got some girth on it. I mean, I'm having a hard time getting my hands around this one. Interesting coloration on these guys right now. They've got these bright, vibrant colors. Cool. Hopefully we're on to something. I'm having to really fish finesse for these things with a drop shot rig and a mealworm. Uh-oh. How we living?
There we go. You know, the afternoon wind picked up a little bit. Came to the backside and found a little colony of empty beds, but still wanted to give it a shot. And here we go. Here's a nice little average Perris gill. Average size. Bigger than my hand for
That's
sure.
a heck of an average, buddy.
There's a jig. We put them in the box, don't spook the school, and try for another one. Let's see what happens, right? Temporary home. Everybody's there. Make sure they go back healthy. Alright, boys. Let's try for another one.
Hope you guys are having a good time out here with us. We're catching them a couple different ways. I've coaxed my bites, finessing them with the drop shot rig. Stephen's doing work with the jig and mealworm combo. So hopefully this wind fires them up.
Wind's really blowing right now. But it's starting to turn these fish on.
That's a good one.
Another Lake Perris slab. There we go. Caught on the jig and the mealworm. Had to go a little heavier on my jig head. The wind is blowing, so it's hard to keep the line down. And it is choppy, but they're starting to bite a little bit. Still a very, very tough day, but me and Oliver have been just scratching away and scratching our heads. But these bring us so much joy. They're so fun. Sometimes we just gotta lay down the big baits and put out the little baits and just enjoy our time with some friends and some company and harvest a few for fish tacos and just have a ball.
These big Coppernose Bluegill are special, guys. They're delicious, but make sure you guys are harvesting the medium-sized fish, allowing the big trophies to continue, passing those genetics on so we can maintain this special fishery. There's a few like it throughout Southern California, but it's cool to see more big panfish conservation awareness. What a blast. Let's get this big bad boy back in the water. Nice. Well done. Big shout out to my man Stephen.
Hey.
Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves today. I'm Oliver Nye here at Lake Perris. Catch you guys on the next one.
LRPs. Some of the best yet. Some of the best yet. They bite like that, like that, like that. Big bass, double digits.
Pick up the fire right on top.
Low fall, blast off, time to get some cast off. Doing this here for years, get my bass on. Stream mask on, putting in work. Snap back, got me focused, never settle on a shirt. I missed one and hit one, man, that's getting some. 2, 3, 4, 5 more, come on, that's ripping up. The way the bass sticking, the way my fin